Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We head back to May 31st, 1953, a Sunday, an episode of Dick Powell, Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell, the William B Holland Case. We thank you for tuning in on this Tuesday. This is the 31st day of May, last day of the month. We have 151 days of the year gone, 214 days remaining until we get to the next year. The first U.S. copyright law enacted in 1790, protecting books, maps, and other original materials. John Harvey Kellogg patented cornflakes on this date in 1884. Heavy rains caused the South Fork Dam to collapse in 1889, sending 20 million tons of water into Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Over 2,200 people killed, the town nearly destroyed. The hull of the Titanic launched in Belfast on this date in 1911. At the ceremony, a White Star Line employee claimed not even God himself could sink the ship. Maybe God couldn't, but an iceberg could. The last Ford Model T rolled off the assembly line in 1927 after a production run of 15 million vehicles. The British Expeditionary Forces withdrew from the Belgian sector of Dunkirk on this date in 1940 and returned home.
On the station, I watched the men climbing into the long waiting trains. It was astounding to walk along carriage after carriage full of soldiers and to find in each one silence. For most of the men were fast asleep where they sat. All the way along the line, the people of England stood at the level crossings and in the back gardens to wait for them. And so the men of the BEF came home.
Reporter Bernard Stubbs. Former Gestapo official Adolf Eichmann hanged in Israel on this date in 1962. In 1969, John Lennon and Yoko Ono recorded Give Peace a Chance, the first single recorded by a solo Beatle, from their hotel bed. 97-year-old Alberta Martin, one of the last widows of a U.S. Civil War veteran, died on this date in 2004. She had married Confederate veteran William Martin in 1927 when she was 21 and he was 81. Vanity Fair magazine revealed former Federal Bureau of Investigation Associate Director Mark Felt was Watergate informant Deep Throat. They announced that on this date in 2005. The astronaut 1998 QE-2 and its moon made their closest approach to Earth for the next 2 centuries on this date in 2003. Passing away on this date in history, psychologist Arthur Timothy Leary, also jazz musician Tito Puente, the delightful Arlene Francis, who was an actress but also talk show host, television personality, and best known for her time with What's My Line, and actress Jean Stapleton, passing away on this date in history. This is the birthday of the poet Walt Whitman, Pope Pius the 11th, Fred Allen born on this date in history. Also, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the clergyman, actor Don Amici, singer Johnny Paycheck, and Vicky Sue Robinson, still turning the beat around. Birthday number 92 for Clint Eastwood.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Clint Eastwood is Harry Callahan in Sudden Impact. Clint Eastwood, 92 years old today. Peter Paul and Mary's Peter Yarrow is 84 today. Also turning 84, Lenny Welch, fine singer, Since I Fell for You. Also, Cagney and Lacey Sharon Glass is 79, as is Joe Namath. He is also 79 today.
Once I hurt my knee trying to make a tackle that a lot of people thought I shouldn't have been trying to make. Well, let me tell you, if you put that uniform on, You're supposed to be a football player, and you've got to be ready to go all the way. That's just the way I am. I guess that's why I use Brute. I like the smell. I like the way it works, the way it lasts.
Brute by Fabergé. After the game, after anything, Brute goes all the way.
If you're not going to go all the way, man, why go at all?
Joe Namath, 79 years old today. From Platoon, Tom Berenger is 73. From Falcon Crest and Gonzo and Trapper John M.D., Gregory Harrison, 72. From the David Letterman Show, Bob Elliott's son, Chris Elliott, 62. From Back to the Future and Red Dawn, Leah Thompson, 61 years old today. Singer Corey Hart, 60. Brooke Shields, 57.
I took her hand in mine, and we went out of the ruined place. And as the morning mists had risen long ago when I left the forge, so the evening mists were rising now, and in all the broad expanse of tranquil light they showed to me. I saw no shadow of another parting from her. Reading is to the mind what Calvin's are to the body.
Calvin Klein jeans.
Those commercials never made sense. Brooke Shields, 57 today, and Bullseye in Daredevil, Colin Farrell, is 46. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the last day of May as their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
We go back 69 years, May 31st, 1953. Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell. On this Tuesday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox right here on your favorite radio station.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
In some of the earlier episodes of Richard Diamond, Private Detective, Dick Powell sang at the end of the show. But on the CBS run, he really didn't do that. And I don't know why that was, but they just didn't. So let's listen to this episode of Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell, May 31st, 1953, 69 years ago, the William B. Holland case.
Listen while the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, Private Detective. Rexall Family Druggist brings you a transcribed half hour with Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
Diamond Detective Agency. I was curious. I tasted it. I'm dying.
You sound awful.
Oh, if I had the energy, I'd throw my head out of the window.
Hangover?
Just worn out from getting my heart started, Lieutenant Levinson.
Mr. Levinson.
What do you mean?
As of 5 minutes ago, I became just plain Mr. Levinson.
Oh, think what a shock that's going to be to just plain Bill.
At exactly 3 o'clock, I started on my 2 weeks vacation. I am going fishing. I want to get lost in the woods somewhere. Pack in, do my own cooking, catch myself a limit of nice fat steelheads and rainbows.
Oh, I know. The smell of fried trout and boiling coffee.
Yeah.
Getting up the next morning. breathing that fresh mountain air, and then realizing that you forgot to put out the fire and 20,000 acres have been burned flat.
Yeah. That was pretty mean.
Oh, go on. Get next to nature.
Too bad you have to stay in town and work.
I hope you get scurvy.
Bye, Blue Eyes.
No.
Mr. Diamond?
Yeah.
My name is Holland, Mr. Diamond. Arthur Holland.
Well, sit down, Mr. Holland. What can I do for you?
First, come over to this window.
Any particular reason, or do you plan on an accidental suicide?
There should be a man standing across the street. He's been following me.
Oh? What does this man look like?
Crew cut, short, fat, wearing a black leather jacket. There he is.
In front of the cigar store?
Yes.
Who is he?
I have no idea. I've never seen him before.
Know why he might be following you?
No.
Well, how long has he been following you?
Since this morning.
Well, okay. What did you come to see me for?
My brother's name is William B Holland. A long time ago, he left the family and started out to see the world. Started working his way from place to place. Although William has been gone for nearly 10 years, not once in those 10 years have I failed to receive a weekly letter.
But he hasn't written lately.
Not for a month.
Where was the last place he wrote you from?
San Borja, Bolivia.
Never heard of it.
It's a small city in the interior. Now, while in La Paz, he wrote me that he'd met a man named Louis Frober. This Frober was from San Borja, and according to Will, practically ran the place. Now, Will said he was going to visit him, and in his last 2 letters, he talked much of Frober and his hospitality, but said that something was wrong in this town of San Borja.
Didn't say what it was?
Didn't know.
Then his letters stopped?
Yes.
And you wanted me to find out why they stopped, if anything's happened to your brother.
Mr. Diamond, I'm quite wealthy, and I will pay you handsomely to take the job. Besides, it might turn into a nice vacation. South America is supposed to be wonderful this time of year.
Vacation?
Possibly.
Well, Mr. Holland, I'll take the job on 2 conditions.
What are they?
Well, first, my fee, $100 a day in expenses.
Accepted.
Thank you. Second, that you purchase 2 tickets for San Borja, Bolivia.
2 tickets?
Well, I'd like to take my assistant along. Bolivia is new territory for me, and it might be dangerous.
I checked on you quite thoroughly, and I didn't find that you worked with an assistant.
Well, only on the cases that take me out of town. He's a worldly man. He could find a trout in the Sahara. Lots of experience. 15 years with the police department.
All right. What's his name?
Walter Q. Levinson. The Q is for Quincy. But don't tell him I mentioned it. Well, that's how it works. Man comes in, wants me to find his brother. Last seen in South America. Walt Levinson was looking for a vacation spot, and I was looking for someone to talk to on my way to San Borja. Result? 1 phone call to Fatty Levinson.
Bolivia?
Oh, but you'll love it, Walt. Trout as big as sharks.
Where did you get 2 tickets to Bolivia?
Well, to tell you the truth, Fatty, I'm going down on a little job.
See you when you get back. Bye.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute, you ingrate. I've just got to find a missing brother. After that, we can relax and have ourselves a time. Oh, think of it. South America. The ocean as blue as my eyes.
Dames.
Native music under a golden moon.
And dames.
Quaint little... What did you say?
Dames.
Well?
I'll meet you at the airport.
Pan American Grace Clipper, Flight 109 from Miami, Guatemala City, Panama, Lima, Arequipa, and La Paz, boarding at Gate 7, all aboard.
Pan American Clipper, destination La Paz, Bolivia. And enough horsepower to get us there in a snappy 14 hours. The lights of Manhattan dropping away as we turn on the first leg of our pattern, heading up for 16,000, looking down and wondering about a man in a leather jacket and a crew cut, looking down as the lights begin to melt into a heavy cold front. 16,000, flying south, the pitch changing the propellers into a mellow hum.
Why don't you relax?
Well, did you notice a little blonde stewardess with the high-altitude features?
On the way in. I want to get some sleep.
Well, indulge yourself. I'm going to see if I can do something about the pressure in this cabin. The water on my knee is beginning to percolate. Oh, miss! Hey, Fatty, wake up.
Huh? Oh.
You had yourself quite a sleep.
Yep. Where are we?
Well, another hour, we're in Miami.
How'd you make out with Miss Hummingbird?
Been with Pan American 3 years, 60,000 miles, over 2,000 hours. Name's Rogers, Gene Rogers, Baltimore.
How'd you make out?
Oh, shut up.
La compañía Panagra anuncia la llegada procedente de Nueva York. Los pasajeros desembarcarán en el terminal de Panagra número 3. Pan American Grace Airline Clipper Flight 109 from New York, now unloading at gate number 3.
Oh, I'm a little stiff.
I didn't know you brought anything with you.
What now?
Well, pick up our baggage and on to San Borja.
Where the devil is San Borja?
How do I know? Let's go find out. And we did. San Borja, according to the information desk, was some 200 kilometers into the interior. 10,000 feet above sea level, high on a plateau, and the only way there...
Oh, this is swell. Dandy vacation, but what happens when my liver comes loose?
Well, relax, Walt. Only 160 kilometers to go. Considering where we are, these roads are pretty good.
We'll never make it. I'll lay 8 to 5. We end up riding side saddle on a Billius llama.
Hey, driver.
Si, senor?
Why no airfield in San Borja?
Oh, there is one there. But it is what you call the emergency. It is hard for a plane to land. Something to do with the wind.
It's a plateau, isn't it?
Si, senor. We got to climb 5,000 feet yet.
Sounds like an ambitious chiropodist. 10 o'clock and the morning sun getting hotter. The old Ford straining up the grade like an antique teapot. 11 o'clock and the temperature crowding 120.
I want to go home.
Oh, we got to stop and let her cool off.
Blue ocean and tropical music.
Oh. How much farther, driver?
Oh, about 20 kilometers, senor. I'm going to put some water from the canteen in the radiator.
Hey, Walt, let's stretch our legs, huh?
Okay. Oh, lousy humidity.
Oh, she sure was empty.
He means his head.
Duck, Walt. On the car.
You okay?
Yeah. I think they're behind that hill. Go out this side and try to circle them. Keep them covered.
Right. Keep your head down.
Gee, I'm glad you thought of that. Walt covered me, and I crawled out behind the car and took off for a bunch of trees. They didn't spot me until I'd circled them and was almost on top of them. 2 men with rifles lying behind a small hill. One of them turned and spotted me moving in. Walt?
Yeah? Okay?
Okay.
You all in one piece?
Yeah. How about you?
Fine. 2 of them, huh?
Yeah, bandits, I guess.
You got them both. Wonder what they're after.
Our hides. Came close to getting them, too. The unexpected. 2 men with rifles hiding behind a hill. If I hadn't gotten them, they'd have gotten us. We picked them up, dragged them over to the car, and I kept asking myself, why? Why 2 men behind a hill with rifles? Bandits? Maybe. Assassins paid to wait there and kill us? If that was the answer, who told them we were coming? The man in the leather jacket back in New York? Maybe.
Dumped them in the car?
Yeah.
The driver's had it. Slug got him in the chest.
I'll dump him in, too. Let's get to San Borja and get some answers. And if you say anything about a vacation, I'll sing all the way up the hill.
The 2 Americans, Mr. Diamond and Mr. Levinson.
Come in, come in. I am Louis Prober.
How do you do, sir? Anything else, Mr. Frobe?
No, that's all, Paul. Well, gentlemen, I understand you ran into some difficulty.
Well, your local constabulary seemed to think there was some law against driving around San Borja with 3 dead men in the back seat.
And these bandits attacked you and killed your driver, is that right?
That's right.
And you in turn killed them?
That's right.
Well, for tourists, you fight rather well.
Well, not exactly tourists, Mr. Frober. We asked to see you because we were sent here to locate a William Holland.
Ah, I see. May I offer you a drink?
Lovely suggestion.
Here I present the interests of Arthur Holland, William's brother.
That's right.
Water?
Straight.
Well, gentlemen, I informed Mr. Holland that William simply left. After all, there's nothing strange about that. There you are.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're not looking for anything unusual, Mr. Frober. This was the last place William was heard from, so this is the most likely place to try and locate him.
Of course. Well, here's to a pleasant stay in San Borja, gentlemen, and to your very good health.
Dick Powell was a musical comedy performer in the 30s and in the early 40s, but by 1944 he said, I want to get more serious, and he tried out to be the lead in Double Indemnity. He lost out to Fred MacMurray, another Hollywood nice guy, got the lead role as Philip Marlowe in Murder My Sweet in 1944, and that made the change. May 31st, 1953, Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective on Classic Radio Theater.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We're listening to an episode of Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell, which would be the final run of the show on radio from to this date, May 31st, 1953, until September 20th, 1953, 7 o'clock Sunday evenings, spilling in for the summer months for Amos and Andy. And in the newspapers of May 31st, 1953, that Sunday 69 years ago, these were some of the headlines. Winston Churchill will ask 8 fellow British prime ministers in the British Commonwealth next week to back his project for an early East-West parley, that according to British sources. Churchill thus hopes to strengthen his hand, these informants said, at his June conference in Bermuda with President Eisenhower and the new still unchosen Premier of France. The coronation of Queen Elizabeth II has brought the leaders of the Commonwealth nations to London. They will meet immediately after the Queen is crowned Tuesday for a region by region survey of the world situation and a close discussion of their own defense, economic, and constitutional relationships. While Allied guns and planes heavily blasted 3 red-captured hills in the west, UN troops braced today for more of what regarded as bargaining power attacks in Korea. Many officers saw a close tie between the abruptly powerful red assaults that captured Carson, Elk, and Vegas outposts and the truce talks due to resume Monday at Panmunjom. They believe the Reds might be showing military muscle in an effort to gain face and add bargaining power at the truce table, so there was an alert for more such savage attacks elsewhere along the 155-mile front. President Eisenhower conferred yesterday with top policymakers on a Korean truce crisis, which threatens to split the Allied command and wreck whatever chances there may be now for ending the conflict in Korea. The chief executive met with Secretary of State John Foster Dulles, Secretary of Defense Wilson, and General J. Lawton Collins, the Army Chief of Staff. Dulles just returned from a 2-month tour of the Middle East and South Asia, went to meeting after conferring at length with assistants on South Korea's rejection of truce terms submitted to the communists and its threat to break up any armistice reached on those terms. London throbbing last night with coronation enthusiasm from the bombed-out tenements of Limehouse to plush Mayfair. Bob Considine, writing for the International News Service, reporting thousands of delirious people in the gay, glittering capital jammed up against the approaches to Buckingham Palace in hopes of seeing Queen Elizabeth II. Police at one point estimated 20,000 persons outside the palace gates, the crush so great that sentry boxes were moved inside the arrow-tipped steel fence. Elizabeth danced almost till dawn, caught a sharp nap, and then began greeting her official guests, including her mother-in-law, and ushering them into the rooms in the 690-room palace. The hush-hush atmosphere of Senator Joseph McCarthy's mystery trip to Texas deepened yesterday as the secretive senator jumped into a private plane and headed for Mexico. Several muscular aides who carefully kept reporters from interviewing distance intimated McCarthy came to Dallas on routine business as head of the Senate Investigations Subcommittee. His wealthy oilmen hosts called it a pleasure jaunt. McCarthy scowled and said nothing. With McCarthy during a cat-and-mouse chase through the Dallas airport were John Murchison and Clint Murchison Jr., son of Clint Murchison, Dallas oil millionaire. The Murchison brothers said the Murchisons' private plane, a DC-3 luxury ship, flying McCarthy and party to the Murchisons' Acuna Ranch in the Sierra Madre Mountains of Mexico. They said he was expected to stay there a couple of days and then go somewhere. And Jerry Clapper, the Knox College sophomore who heads the local fraternity chapter of Phi Sigma Kappa, says half the members are resigning because the national organization refused membership to a Negro. Clapper said 9 of the 18 active members are quitting with him. Phi Sigma Kappa's national headquarters recently refused to let the Knox chapter initiate a Negro student. Good to hear there were some rational boys back then. Though some of the day's top news stories is reported in the newspapers of Sunday, May 31st, 1953. On your radio, Richard Diamond, Private Detective. The conclusion you'll hear next on this Tuesday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
We'll start off our new month on Wednesday's Classic Radio Theater with an episode of the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore, from 72 years ago, June 1st, 1950. It seems that Dr. Carew wants his wife to lose weight and twists Dr. Kildare and Dr. Gillespie's arms to get her to lose weight. That's coming up on tomorrow's Classic Radio Theater, but let's wrap up this hour with the conclusion of Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell, May 31st, 1953, 69 years ago today.
And now back to tonight's adventure with Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
Louis Frober, big man with a slight accent, drinking to our health and extending an invitation to his house for dinner that evening. One hotel in San Borja, not many tourists, according to the manager, but good rooms and hot water, according to the manager. Sandwiches and a late lunch compliments the hotel. Frober owned the hotel, according to the manager. It's open.
If you gentlemen would like, Mr. Frober instructed me to show you around the town.
Who is it? You want to see the town?
Sure.
Oh, I'm glad to have you show us around. What's your name?
Yavacek. Paul Yavacek.
San Borja, Bolivia. Sitting on the top of the world, 2/3 dense tropical jungle. Population 335 who take 2 months every year to cut back the persistent jungle. Principal industry, tin. The mines, 2 kilometers east. Frober owned the mines, according to Paul Yavacek. 3 main streets, modern, up-to-date, a clothing store, several cafes, a bank, telegraph office, post office, and a recreation hall. All built and owned by Frober, according to our guide, Paul Yavacek.
You mine tin, huh? How do you get it out?
Trucks, then by cargo plane. If you had arrived tomorrow, you would have passed the caravans as you came up the mountain. The ore is taken out once a week.
How well did you know William Holland?
Not well. Now, if you gentlemen have seen enough for today, I suggest we leave for Mr. Frober's house. He expects you at 7.
A kilometer from town in the house of Louis Frober. The jungle not far off and a heavy tropical shower right on top of us. Like Frober, the house was big and imposing, a showcase of its master's wealth and position.
I am so sorry that you got caught in the shower. They are pesky things sometimes, but they don't last long.
Louis?
Oh, gentlemen, my wife, Mrs. Frober, Mr. Diamond, Mr. Levinson.
How do you do?
How do you do, Mr.
How do you do? Dinner is served.
Dinner. The long, paneled dining room illuminated by a dozen candles. Music floating in from a hidden speaker. The food, something to make the Waldorf chef quietly fold his tent. And the conversation?
Do you plan to stay in San Borja long, Mr. Diamond?
It's hard to say, Mrs. Frober. It's a wonderful soup.
Mr. Diamond and Mr. Levinson have been sent here to try and locate William Holland.
Oh? The soup is my own recipe, Mr. Diamond. Made from barley grown right here in San Borja.
Just a casual dinner conversation, unless you're conditioned, aware of the subtle interrogation. The end of a pleasant and filling meal. Armagnac in the den, and more talk about health, wealth, and the weather. And more interrogation. 10 o'clock.
Well, I am afraid you'll have to excuse me now, gentlemen. I have to be up at 6 o'clock, and I have a hard day ahead of me.
The conventional goodbyes and exaggerated compliments on a wonderful evening, then back to the hotel. All in all, a very interesting evening, according to Fatty Levinson.
Our charming hostess slipped me a note as we left.
Why, Walt.
I must talk with you. My husband will be leaving the house shortly before midnight. Meet me in the garden at 12.
Why, Walt.
It's addressed to you.
Why, Ricky. At 12:15, Then out the back of the hotel, because in San Borja, everyone works for Louis Frober. Heading for Frober's house. Walt 50 yards behind, because in San Borja, a note asking you to meet the wife of Louis Frober might easily be a trap. Maybe William Holland had received just such a note. 12 o'clock and Mrs. Frober moving through the moonlight in the garden south of the house. Walt behind a tree, ready for anything.
I'm so glad you came, Mr. Diamond. Where's Mr. Levinson?
Well, he stayed behind. Why did you want to see me, Mrs. Frober?
It is about William Holland and my husband.
Where is your husband, Miss Frober?
He left with Paul for the mines. From what I could find out, he's going to meet someone. Someone of great importance.
Oh. What about William Holland?
I am sure he has been killed. And I am sure my husband had him killed.
Go on.
We first met William in La Paz. He was likable, easy to talk to. I had been married for 2 years, and it was my first trip away from San Borja. I liked William.
You know anyone in New York? Blonde, short-cut hair, plump face, might like to wear leather jackets?
No.
Well, go on with your story.
A year after I married Louis Frober, I began to suspect something wrong with his activities here in San Borja. The men who came to see him on business. Strange men. Foreigners to South America. Long nights of business meetings and trips to the mines. When William finally came here, I told him of my suspicions. And one night he informed me he was going to the mines to investigate. I never heard from him again.
You think it had something to do with your husband?
Right after that, I overheard a phone conversation by my husband. He was talking to someone he called the director.
The director?
Yes. My husband said that William had found his way into the mines and had been eliminated.
I see. You've only known your husband for 2 years.
2 years and a half. I met him in Rio while he was down on one of his business trips. I married him 6 months later and came to San Borja to live. Would you like to know where I met my husband, Mr. Diamond?
If you think it's necessary.
With what I've come to believe, I feel that it is most necessary. I met him at a party given by the Russian embassy. Mr. Diamond, I am sure that my husband is an important official for the communists.
Along the road east of the Frober mines, no lights, just the moon. The sounds of the jungle raising the hair on the back of my neck. A kilometer from the mines, and the dull glow in the sky pointing the way. Frober's generators and manpower working late. The kilometer passed, and the tenseness in the middle of my stomach took on cramp-like proportions. We climbed a hill for a better look.
Pretty busy. Must be 30 trucks down there.
I'm getting them loaded for the trip down the hill.
Hey, listen to that.
Well, I'll be darned.
Is that what I think it is?
Well, the fields in San Borja make it tough for a plane, but for a helicopter, that's another thing.
Frober left the house to meet somebody important.
Anybody who comes into San Borja in a helicopter at night is a pretty good bet to be important.
Our dead driver said there was an emergency field.
Well, it's landing on the other side of the mines. It must be close.
You want to take a look?
Well, not too many men around those trucks. Before we go looking for that copter, I want to see if it's really 10 Mr. Frober's taking out of that mine. Down the hill, Walt 20 yards behind in case of trouble. Picking our way through the brush, trying not to sound like a landslide. A long road running away from the mines toward San Borja. The line of trucks, the first dozen or so loaded and ready, their backs piled high with sacks. A short sprint, and I was boosting myself up on the back of the first truck, digging into one of the sacks, feeling the heavy chunks of ore, then down off the truck with the ore in my hand.
You're up late, Mr. Diamond.
Paul Yavicek, Frober's right-hand boy, standing in the darkness, his gun pointed right at my stomach.
Mr. Frober will be happy to know of your interest in his mines. Start walking up the road toward the main gate. Stay ahead of me. Keep your hands in sight.
Tell me something, Yavicek. How do you get 10 out of pitchblende?
I suggest you ask Mr. Frober.
He's at the mines?
He will be. Drop it, Yavicek.
Thanks, Walt, thanks. You all right?
Yeah, it's close. You have a check?
Dead. Come on, let's get out of here.
Where to?
Well, Mrs. Frober said her husband had a phone conversation. I'm going to use that phone and warn La Paz about Frober.
Hold it.
What is it?
Car coming down the road. Frober.
Yeah, and he's got company. Probably his important visitor. When he finds out what's happened, he'll guess it's us. We'll never get back to town before he does.
Unless we drive.
I will take a chance on the confusion and grab that first truck.
Clear. The keys are in the truck. We must live right.
Yeah, but for how long?
There is a direct phone line all the way to Cavendo. The operator at Cavendo can put you through to La Paz.
Bueno. Operadora de Covendo, ¿puede escribir?
She's talking Spanish. You better take it.
Oh. Esta es la señora Frober. Favor de conectarme con La Paz.
Minutes running out. Mrs. Frober looking frightened, waiting for La Paz to answer.
She has them.
Ask for the embassy.
Car pulling up.
La Embajada Americana, por favor.
Frober and his important friend.
Mr. Diamond, I have them.
Hello?
Yes, American Embassy.
Now listen carefully. I can't repeat. This is Richard Diamond, American citizen, calling from San Borja, Bolivia. Louis Frober is not mining tin. It's pitchblende, and is believed to be working for the Russian government.
Look out!
Hello, Mr. Diamond.
Rick.
Okay.
Mrs. Frober?
I'm all right.
Take a look at Frober and his friend.
Hello. What happened?
Now, hold on a second. There's been some trouble.
Frober's friend is dead.
No.
Frober's moving, but it doesn't look very good.
Hello, La Paz?
Yes, Mr. Diamond, go ahead. What about Frober?
Wait a minute. Maybe I can get him to tell you himself if the phone will reach.
Oh.
Frober, can you hear me? Hello, La Paz. There's been a shooting here, and Mr. Frober's dying. Frober.
Yeah.
Frober, you're dying. You want to tell us about it? You're mining pitchblende instead of tin, right?
Right.
You're working for the Soviet Union?
Yeah.
Did you send 2 men to ambush me?
Yeah. Our agents in New York watched Asa Holland and reported that she had been hired.
The guy with the crew cut and a leather jacket.
Did you have William Holland killed?
Yeah. He found out what... Oh.
Frober. Hello, La Paz. Frober's dead.
Richard Diamond, Private Detective, stars Dick Powell in the title role and was written by Blake Edwards with music composed and conducted by Frank Worth. Dick Powell directed the RKO production Split Second, which is now in release, and his latest film appearance was in the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer award-winning The Bad and the Beautiful. Heard in tonight's cast were Arthur Q. Bryan, Wilms Herbert, Ben Wright, Jack Crucian, Virginia Gregg, Don Diamond, and Lillian Bayef. Richard Diamond, Private Detective, is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Bill Foreman inviting you to be with us next Sunday at this time when Rexall Drug Products again bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, Private Detective.
From May 31st, 1953, Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A reminder that we have a web page, and I hope you'll stop by it. It is classicradio.stream. There you can stream our shows on demand. You can learn more about classic radio collecting. You can find all of our social media links there. And by the way, there is now a link on there. If you want to drop me a tip, buy me a Dr. Pepper. I know it says buy me a coffee. I don't drink coffee. Buy me a Dr. Pepper, okay? you can do that there. It is classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. And please thank this station and support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every Tuesday. We're around here on your favorite station. And if you miss a day on this station, you can always catch up on the shows, not only on the webpage, but through Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon, all sorts of other places, just by searching for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.